Welcome to another episode with Marissa and I.
And I've broken myself out of so many different cycles. And I was just talking to a friend the other night, and I was like, you know, I've broken so many I realized another generational curse upon my family. And I was like, why? Why do I have to be the one breaking all these? I've already broken so many. And here's another one I just got to wear a man. But then I changed my perspective. I was like, but I get to be that one.
There you
Like,
go.
I get to be that
I just
one.
got chills.
I am strong. I am the one. Like,
Yep.
you regain that power, not just like hopeless, like, oh, poor me. And that's empowering within itself. And once you break a cycle or realize that you have grown or changed, or um, it's so empowering and it's kind of addicting to a point
Yeah.
because you're like, just want to strive to be better. But then there's still the times where it gets you down. And I feel like it's a cycle. And sometimes it's frustrating when you know your power, but you're avoidant of certain things.
hmm Well, we're
Why is
still
that?
being human, you know. It
No.
if we I think there's going to come a point in time when we do raise our vibration high enough that we are in that higher state of mind, and I think we'll have a lot more clarity about what it is because the third dimension is so thick with the density right now, um, that it's hard to see the forest through the trees, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
but again, I've been told so many times in sessions, it's like and they say, and this is coming from like the Octurians will say, Heather, you think it's bad and you really dislike the things that you experience on earth. But I will tell you this, when you are back here, you will miss it all. And I'm like, I will not miss this stuff. And they were like, yes, you will. Because
Have
it's the
you,
little things. Like the example they gave me, they were like, what does it feel like when you are able to hug another human being? I feel an urge to cry. That's so crazy. Um, just the physicality. You don't get that when you're in the higher dimensions. It's a different energy, right? It's it,
um,
I don't know why I feel like crying, but yeah. So it's like
Probably.
there's this you'll miss all of
I
the
have been
connection. It's
watching.
different.
Yeah, you know what actually is a good, I just started working and I'm working with, his name's Phil. Anyways, we will watch TV together and stuff. And we've been watching this show called Resident Alien. Have you heard of it? Have you
No.
watched it?
Uh-uh.
Okay, it's on Netflix and it's about this alien who comes to destroy all of Earth. He has this device that he was supposed to just come swing over, drop it, obliterate us. Well, something goes wrong. He drops it. He get does a crash landing. Has to disguise as a human, and then he starts feeling human feelings. And he's like watching TV shows to figure out how to be a human, how to interact like us, talk like us, blah 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 blah. And I'm at this point where he thought that we were just. I mean, all of their species just thought we were stupid and not evolved and like animals. And then he started feeling feelings and he fell in love. And he's like, wants to do everything to save this girl. He literally stopped his whole mission just because of this one person. He did not want her to die. And he's just like, okay, I'm like understanding. I just got chills. I'm understanding all like the humans. And so it's a good movie. It's really funny because he's so awkward because he's learning. He like smiles like this and he's like talks like this and He learns how to. It's so funny. You should watch it. It's
I'll have
cute.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just what it reminded me of. But I
Yeah.
also think whenever I watch things, it always is because I don't watch a lot of TV. But when I do, it always ends up being something that's so relevant. And I don't notice it at the time. It's like after I watch it, I'm like, because I don't pick things like, hey, I want to watch this for this reason or anything. I'll just, but yes, our emotions are so. One thing that he really, he's like, we have memories, but when we have memories, we don't have feelings with it.
Right.
And so he was talking about how our memories will take us back into that moment and that feeling, and that it was so weird. And he's like, this, I don't like this. And I don't like this at all. And it's just, it's so funny. You should watch it.
Yeah.
Everyone should watch it if you're into aliens and stuff. It's a funny show, but
That
anyway.
also goes to show like how our higher self really feels about it. And it's just like, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like watching the scary movie without all of the because the music is what makes it intense, right? If you
Yes.
ever watch the making of a horror movie, and they showed me this long time ago, they said, "You want to know what it's like from me to you?" And I was like, "Yeah." They said, "Go on a set of a horror movie." And if you watch the making of the horror movie, they cut up, they're laughing, and it's like when you come around the corner, act scared, and they come around and the girl's like, ah, and they're like, okay, that was so fake. You got to be real. And so they have to keep redoing it so you get the real scare factor and all the things. And they laugh and they cut up because it's fun, right?
Yeah.
But until they add the music is what my
Oh,
higher
yeah.
self says that's the 3D density. Okay.
Right. And I'm sure
Because,
they probably play some kind of frequencies in those exact music. I mean, I'm sure that they have
yes,
like whole science to it in the music or
right,
in
right.
industry.
So if you think about, because Dolores always talks about it's just a play. So they gave me that, and I didn't even put two and two together, but literally it was like this is the making of the horror movie. You're what everybody has their part. They come in, they play their part. Ah, be real. Ah, no, get real, make it seem, legit. And then the 3D kicks in with the sound effects, the lighting, the sound, the gore, all that stuff. That is what intensifies the reality to make it seem real, right? And that's exactly what they said. So when the higher self is looking at it, the higher self can't hear the noise. The higher self only sees the play. So the higher self is like, what's so hard about that? I want to learn the lesson. So I want
Right.
it to get harder and harder so it proves a point. And I'm
Ah.
like, but oh my God, stop. This is like so damn hard. Just give me a sign. I don't need a lesson again. Damn.
Yeah.
And the higher self's like, but it's just
Seriously.
lessons and experiences. I get so tired of hearing that. I was like, shut up. I don't want to hear that.
My
Lord.
tea made me so hot between, I'm like, maybe I'll go sit outside.
But yeah, I've been,
Um, you know what? Come on. Oh, it's too loud out here. Dang it, I'll just open the door. Um,
I can't hear anything.
yeah, I figured I'm right next to this.
No, I can hear you. I don't hear
Oh,
anything outside.
oh no, you don't?
No.
Okay, there's a road right here. So, well, tell me if it gets too loud.
Okay.
Um, I'm on a roof.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. I can just set this up here. So, um, you know, I have realized, I don't know, I guess I'm really cautious about what I watch. The guy I work for, or with, he likes a lot of thriller and action and fighting shows. I'm like, I won't watch those, sorry. Um, but this Resident Alien, there is some, when you're talking about music, there is some fighting and there is some death and stuff. But I just realized the music in it when someone broke in and the people are like beating the people who broke in, and they have funny music on. They're making it like funny, like lighthearted because I don't know. So you'll have to watch it. But music is such a big play into it. It
Mm-hmm.
is.
It is. It's crazy. But that's just something that because I wanted to understand it when I first started doing Dolores Cannon stuff, and they're like, "Oh, we'll give you this vision," and I was like, "Wow, that's very cool," because I would have never got that. But yeah,
I
it's
I just realized, oh my gosh, why am I on my phone stand? I just realized that when I was younger, I had a roof that or my bedroom had like went out on the roof and I sat on the roof all the time. It was my safe space.
mm,
And now I have another roof. And I kind of avoided coming out here because I'm literally at the top of this hill and there's cars and I'm always like, gosh, people are going to see me.
be in your own little world.
Yeah. I did come out here under the full moon the other night.
That's cool.
But sorry, just thoughts in my head.
No,
I'm
that's
totally
awesome.
going off subject.
Yeah. But yeah,
I can see.
it's been some crazy stuff, and I think
I think it's also really good for us to, say, because people, I don't know, I get this, keep on getting this like message of like, talk about the hard things you're going through and how you work through it.
mhm,
Because, it's so easy to show all of the light. But that makes it seem
right.
unattainable for my phone's gonna fall off this. Now I'm a little chilly. Let's open that. Anyways, sorry, all over the place. It makes it seem unattainable for people who are so in the dark,
Mhm.
you know, because sometimes there's some things I'm like, how did I just get through that?
Mhm.
Like, that was, I mean, I was homeless, no car, no job, um, in a city with no family. And that was rough. And then I get through it and I'm like, wow, what the, but sharing that so that people can see how to get out of those dark places. Because I actually, how I came here last year
Mhm.
and things got hard and I went back home to Utah. And I think that that's why I was maybe guided. I think there's something down here. Actually, there's so much. I just don't know. I mean, we might have to talk about this privately
Mhm.
because I don't know if it's good to,
Yeah.
but I will mention the cycle thing. I know I'm meant to be down here for some reason. Um, but last time I kind of ran away. And so I've been really practicing on saying my mom's house, not my house. That's not my home. That's my mom's home now.
Right.
Um, I don't know where home is yet
Mhm.
because I don't know. My home is my man, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
But when things got hard last time, I went back home. And it was more because I thought I was breaking out of a cycle. But I see where I'm grateful I went home because I learned a lot of lessons and I learned so much that it like prepped me to come back here. But this time I was just talking to a friend about this and I was like, I went home over Christmas when I was homeless, jobless, didn't and I still decided to come back even though I had nothing here for me.
Mhm.
And that in itself was so powerful because I'm recreating from the ground up my life, you know? And now I was open to last time I didn't even know how to make it work. I just kind of closed myself off. This time I was like, opened myself. I was like, I'm open for any opportunity. I got back here. Well, I went to Utah. Not only I got a vehicle that I could also live in. It's been my dream to van life for 4 years. Never did it. Didn't even think it was an option for me. So I have my a living place, a car. Then I got here. I got a job and a perfect job that with someone who is so sweet. Yesterday, Phil, he he for my birthday got a steak, made me a whole lunch, sparkling apple cider, brought me a cheesecake. I was like, and then he got me a pedicure today. I have a pedicure at 3 p.m.
Whoa.
I
That's so
know.
cute.
I know. He is he's I'm not gonna say that on here, but and he's a like a big protector dude. Like he in this town, you don't mess with Phil because he will hurt someone if you mess with someone he loves.
That's so
He has the
awesome.
biggest heart. But anyways, I'm just so grateful because I opened up and I was like, okay, there was a point where every person that I had already in my established in my little circle down here and kind of closed off. And then I was like, okay, I made more connections and stuff. And it's just goes to show that, remember I told you they said don't have tunnel vision. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I was like, okay, I'm open to anything. And so when you open yourself up for opportunities for growth, for change, you you will get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be uncomfortable, but it will be better than you thought.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I come down here and not only do I have a place to work, he gave me a place to live
Wow.
so that I can build out my van. And then I can, so I just feel I don't know what's to come. Goodness gracious, with the you hear that?
Mm-mm.
Great. It's a semi. It's
Oh,
really loud. So sorry I got off topic, but just sharing those hard things, you know, I think it's very important. That was my point.
yeah.
There
I
we
think
go.
I think I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, they get in that mindset of I'm never going to get out of this and guess what? You get what you ask for, or you get what you think, and when you think that you can't get out, you will never get out.
Mhm.
And it is about it, you know, I don't know why this popped in my head, but it's like the ultimate lesson of coming to earth is that disconnection, not only from our gods and our higher self and source God, whatever you want to call that energy. Uh, when you are so disconnected, and a lot of times we pick the lives that we pick not only to heal trauma, karma, and all that, like there's a lot of that to play, but to be able to turn that pain into healing to then share it with the world, right? And it's so crazy because like I literally just had a client um last Wednesday, well, 2 Wednesdays ago, because I was at the beach last week. Let me tell you. So I'm starting to think that I need to embrace the fact with sexual trauma that mine was nowhere near as intense as it could have been. And as intense that a lot of people have experienced, yet I still went through the emotions of wishing my mother had, done something. And even though she asked and I was too scared, whatever. Um, I'm getting clients that have the same thing. Like we're trying to break the karmic cycle, right? And seeing it through that dream that I've already told you about, where I see my mother through a different set of eyes, and I'm just like, holy crap! And knowing how it's like my mother and my mother's mother and my mother's mother's mother, it's like this female line of breaking this cycle, and I chose to take the baton, right? Well, the thing is, now this is something that blew me away. Okay. My client, sexual trauma, her mom has sexual trauma. She has a daughter who is 3 years old. Excuse me. And she said that her daughter came to her and showed herself to her before she was ever pregnant with her. She saw a light around her. She knew that she was coming. She didn't know how she was going to come because she was older and all the things. And so anyway, she's here, she's 3, and now she's found out that her baby's father is sexually abusing the 3-year-old. And is trying to the law is not helping. So showing how terrible the system is. And it's just like battle after battle after battle. And the crazy thing is this is the part that stumped me. Like I see sexual trauma, within my family. I see it usually if you've got it, it's because it's passed down. It's you took the baton, and whether you heal it for them, because it doesn't matter who heals it, long as someone in the lineage heals it, it shoots out forwards and backwards, right? So not only will you heal your generations to come, but you also heal your ancestors. It's so
Right.
cool how it just like it ripples out in both directions.
Do you think that, so like if I heal my sexual trauma, it said you said it heals your ancestry too, but even the living ones?
Mm-hmm. So you are healing your mother through your light, whether you know it or not. Now, she has some things to heal within herself, but it's like the karmic lineage. So she has her own healing to do. You can't do that healing for her, right? But you can break the curse where it will no longer affect what's to come. So your children won't have to go through it because the baton doesn't get carried. Doesn't the torch? You don't hand the torch off to your kid. There's no reason to, right? But you break the curse in that it allows them. It's almost like it's like this blackness that was always there gets lifted for the emotions around it to be exposed for healing.
Okay.
And it's so weird because our ancestors are actually, and I don't understand how all this works. I just go on what happens during sessions, but like they are healing through us even on the other side. They can go through their life review. Some of them are waiting to go through the life review because some of them are actually waiting on us to heal because they are
Mm.
actually healing with us on the other side. And there are times where they'll come through and they're like, "Thank you. You have now released me." And by releasing them, and the only thing I can think of is that we are actually breaking the curse. And once the curse is broken, then it frees them up to heal. So I don't really understand, because we only look as time being linear and it's not. So when you're on the other side, it's a totally different thing. And so that's happening with them. As we heal, it frees them up to heal, and if we forgive them from our point of view, they will also forgive us because now that they see the bigger picture, again, that helps them heal. There's so much that we take it for granted. They're like, "Oh, it's just a small thing." But when you connect into them on the other side, and that is easily done in a grief session, um, when you connect in with them and hear their point of view, a lot of times that's all you need to hear is I want to hear from their mouth, like whatever, or you need to say something, even though you can talk to them all the time. I talk to my brother all the time, but being in that relaxed state and allowing them to come through when you're in theta, and then it's recorded, that confirmation is just it solidifies a lot of stuff for us, right? But a lot of times they'll say, well, now that you've healed, you've allowed me to heal.
My family on my dad's side, people have been passing away. Like my aunt passed away a long time ago, but my nana just passed away in May. My cousin just passed away. Um, what month is it? Probably in November. And then I just got news yesterday that my papa is in liver and heart failure. And I'm like, what is going on? And then
Hmm.
I had a friend pass, like, people are just dropping like flies.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because they knew to, the Earth's raising in vibration regardless. And I feel that more, we're going to see it even more, really intensified, between now and probably the next 5 years. I think it's just going to be, well, here's the cool part. Like you can go into, oh my gosh, right? But here's the thing. I've been told in my own session that, and I don't know if this is for everybody because, I'm not the one asking the questions. I wrote these questions down. The practitioner that's doing my session asked the questions. I wish I could have dug deeper, but when you're in that state, you're not thinking about questions. A lot of times you're just allowing.
Right.
Um, but I knew that I was going to die at 22. When I was 17, I knew I was going to die, right? And so, and then I almost killed myself, right? Uh, Twice, right? When my kids were little, when my kids were grown, so that's three times. And then I saw myself die in a car wreck recently. So that was four. And so I asked, I'm like, holy shit, like I've had four opportunities, right? Four opportunities. And they said, well, the way that you set your life up, as for me, again, I don't know if this is for everybody. I apparently set up five checkout points. So when I was going to be 22, if I decided that I did not want to be here, something would have lined up for me to exit.
Mm.
And those times that I wanted to kill myself, they didn't want me to do that, but if I chose to do it, they would have allowed me. Now, I might have had a walk in, but those were my opportunities. And then I would get to a point I'm like, I can do this. I would talk myself in, I can do this. Um, And then I had well, it wasn't really an opportunity, but I saw myself die in the car wreck like 2 years ago. And that was again another time because I got to a point I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. This 3D, learning all the things that I knew. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so they were like, okay, well, we'll set it up. If this is the way you want to go, we can set it up that you'll die in a car wreck. And I was like, and then it got to the point I'm like, hell no, like I want to see this to the end. And they were like, but you set up in your contract five exit points that if you got too deep and you felt like you couldn't come out and you did not want to be here anymore, you set it up throughout your life, those checkout points. And it literally was like in my 20s, my 30s, later 30s, my 40s, and then I guess maybe the last time, whenever that may be. But I also know that if you're not doing the inner work, to release that all that low density because that's all healing is, right? You're alchemizing the darkness, all of the dense stuck energy, and you're transmuting it into the lighter version, right?
Mhm.
If you are not doing that, you're not raising your own vibration within yourself. And when you've got this intense energy coming in to rattle all of the darkness, because when you shake the darkness, it's going to fester up. If you can't deal with that, usually you take a checkout because your soul is like, oh, we're too deep in, like we haven't started. It's time to check out. So
That's what I feel like happened with Lexi.
we're going to see that happen. My brother was the same way. There was just, he was so into drugs and thug life and, victimhood to the core.
Victim mentality is
Yeah,
it's
and
it's an easy one to get stuck in.
it
That's I
is.
feel like it's a very common, very people don't even realize it. Because I was in a victim mentality for such a long time. And if I wish people would know how empowering it is to be accountable for yourself and
Mm-hmm.
to own up to to all the stuff that you feel powerless to, or that you're literally just handing your power over to that circumstance, that situation, that person, that yeah.
Well, it's a program that got programmed from the beginning of time too. It's like as long as, I mean, you think about those that are in power, when they can keep us victim, one that keeps us in fear. And when you're in fear, you're easy to manipulate. So that's
Mhm.
just been this program that's been running
Well,
constantly.
and it's even that, but it gives people this sense of like makes people it's a way for people to get empathy or sympathy from people. So then it's like an intention thing too, subconsciously,
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, if I'm the victim, then someone else is the bad guy. And therefore, people are going to then feed energy to me because they feel bad or they want to help, or, you get something out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. But then once you realize, I think that I think this whole place, I've just determined that this whole city, because it's on, well, I mean, all of America's on indigenous land, but I really feel like this is a very, I don't know, every place I go, it's like, I don't want to say haunted, but I definitely, there's spirits here and in
Mm.
Austin and all the places I've been. So I keep on hearing stuff. So that's why if you hear me, I'm like,
Yeah. We need to ask
sorry.
in your session when we do that in a minute, like what,
Yeah.
and see if we can do a land clearing while we have you in that state
Yes.
for
Yes.
the city, like have them go in and clear the city and
Man,
whew,
this city, people are manifesting the worst. It makes me so upset. You talk to anybody, they're like, yeah, nobody wants to work, nobody wants to do anything. I'm like, stop saying that. Because we're just manifesting nobody wanting to do anything. I was like,
well,
well, I don't say that to them because, people,
the
uh,
thing is though, it's a good thing though. That's the thing. See, the older generation is stuck in the cycle of you got to work hard to make money.
mhm,
The new generation that's coming in, the millenniums, is like, fuck a 9 to 5.
mhm.
I'm not doing this shit. This is not for me. And they're knowing that they can manifest. And so they're trying to they're being little rebels, but they always find ways to make money. So they're the YouTubers, the TikTokers, the side hustle businesses. That's why all
I
this stuff
was
exists, is right?
I was literally talking to a friend this the other day. I was like, I don't know how I went a whole year without an actual like W-2 job, and I went a whole year without it. I have, I mean, it's a double two job, but I have so much freedom in it that it's great because then I can establish myself in other areas,
Mm-hmm.
while I work this and make some money to live.
Right.
But when you see that there's opportunities out there and you don't limit yourself, oh yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's the biggest thing is like you've got the old cycle, that generational, you got to work hard to make money. Money is hard to come by. All of that old programming is getting so disrupted by the new generation is going, I am not working 9 to 5. I am not working to death. I am not working to for retirement. I'm going to enjoy my life minute by minute, moment by moment. I'm going to travel and do all the things I want to do now, not when I'm fucking 70 and too old to enjoy it. And the old generation does not know what to do with that information. Or like, wait, what? Y'all are some
It
lazy
challenges,
motherfuckers. Oh
yeah,
yes.
it challenges
But
their beliefs so
that's
hard.
breaking that paradigm down because
Mhm,
that is not the way to live.
mhm.
I'll tell you, those of us that have been so afraid, and I feel within my soul, this TikTok thing was done intentionally by our galactic being friends. Like,
I just
and
got chills.
the reason I say that is because what opened up was the little red note, right? The little red book.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What there's a
Oh,
lot.
yes.
There's a lot, right? I think
Hmm.
what is today? Inauguration day. What's going on? Things are about to hit
I
the
got
fan.
invited to an inauguration party, and I don't know if at first I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. And then I'm just like, I don't know if I want to be in that frequency with all I don't know. I'm trying to decide for myself if I'm going to go. It's at noon.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
But
there's one at 9.
yeah, it's like this. So, our biggest threat has always been China, right?
Yep.
Right? And then where do we all go? To them. And guess what? They're awesome. They're fun. They're like, oh, we are not
Welcoming.
spies. And they have a cat tax, so you have to show your animals because they love animals. They're like, I can't believe y'all thought we ate cats and dogs. What in the world? You know? And like all the things that we've been told, they're like, no. Why do y'all work two jobs? Like, this is my bill for groceries. This is my bill for living.
Oh,
No,
if
we
I'm
have
getting chills.
beautiful land. We have, and they're so welcoming and so nice. And they are speaking English because we don't speak Chinese and Mandarin, and they're like, oh, and the day that everybody went over, their programmer went in and programmed so that we have English subtitles. If that is not welcoming, I don't know what is, right? And so
Literally.
now, like, here we
Ah, my
are.
whole body. I'm keep on getting like just jolts of chills.
So here we are communicating with our so-called the ones that are gonna kill us. And then we're like, wait, y'all are cool. And it's like, why would we do that? Come over here and meet us. Like and then I
Well,
thought,
think about it. The government, okay, so we're working two jobs. We're working if we're working our butts off and we're barely making ends meet and we don't have time for travel, we don't have money for travel. If nobody goes outside the US, if nobody travels outside, then how are we ever going to know what it's like besides what the media shows us what it's like?
right. And see, I think they thought they would shut us down. And I think something's gonna happen. And they were trying to make sure we didn't see it.
Oh, I think that they shut it down. They were shut. I think it was a whole plan. They shut it down just so that they could do something with the servers for whatever hours. It was like what, 8, 12 hours that it was gone, 16,
Hmm.
whatever. And did something with the servers. I think that it's going to mess up the algorithms. I think it's all planned.
Yeah.
It's all planned.
But our galactic friends have done it where it's like, okay, they always think they make these smart moves and it always bites them in the ass. I love it. And the ones that we thought we had to worry about are our friends. And they're like, we're just human like you are. Like, no shit. We're fucking human people. And now we got Canadians going over there. And now, which is so cool, a lot of the Chinese are coming to TikTok. I don't know if you noticed that, but now they're coming into our
One,
world.
one, 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, oh, okay, never mind. It's just someone outside. I kept on hearing saying someone, hello. Good.
So it's just so cool that, we think that everyone's out to get us because they're the scary monsters because someone above us has told us this. And and we're not buying the bullshit anymore. We're not
I just
listening
got a
to the news.
notification. Project Human Dignity.
Huh.
I don't know if I follow them or if that's weird. I
Yeah.
don't go on Instagram and I don't get notifications from Instagram. So
Might be a sign from the guys that like we're on to something. But I'm just like, and luckily with the work that I do, I've got friends all over the world. I've got some from the Philippines and New Zealand and Australia and London and like, all over the world. And I love it because in my field, I'm like, we're just all human. We're all just trying to make it, and we chose where we wanted to be born. I just happened in this particular incarnation. I feel that I have been all races. I've lived all around the world, which is why, like, when I go places, I resonate strong with certain places. And it's just because I've already lived there. I've been that, And in this particular incarnation, I chose to be a white female living in the South in the USA. And it's so crazy that we sit here and we judge and we do all the things, but we've been them all. We've been the good, we've been the bad. We have done, good things, we have done horrible things. And it's all fine. It's all lessons and experiences,
okay.
but this lifetime is the one that matters. This is the most exciting time. This is the golden ticket, the golden age. There's so many names, the new earth. We're going back to Eden, whatever you want to call it. It's only going to get better after whatever needs to happen for the last little bit of people. It's like if we're all at the playground, those of us that know we're already out there having a blast. We're playing chase tag. We're playing on the monkey bars. We're swinging on the swings. We are in it and having a great time. But there are some that are on the sidelines that are shy and scared, and they're just like, I want to play, but I don't know y'all, right?
Right.
I'm getting chills as I'm saying this. And so those are the ones we call they're on the fence, and that's who we're worried about. We're not worried about the ones who are just like, fuck you, I'm not doing it. Because it might be this lifetime is the one that they played the darkness and they were here to make us grow. So that's why we can't worry about nobody else. And that's again why when I do videos, I just talk about my own personal experience. I am not here to give advice. I am not here to convince anybody of anything. If it
Uh-huh.
resonates, your body will tell you, right?
Hmm.
And you might be going through it too, but yours might be slightly different. So this is where you go within and find out what it is for you. But sometimes hearing things is good because it triggers stuff in us, right? It's like, oh,
I just
I,
got chills.
I
Uh-huh.
have that too. So this is why I get guided to talk about things. But it's like, but this happened to me, and I don't know if it's for you, but this is what I'm going through. So this is, take it or leave it. And I hear things and I'm like, oh God, I'm going to ask because I don't know. And I would never have thought to ask if I wouldn't have heard it. So I think that's why it's so important for you and I to share our experiences, good and bad, because even in the
Mhm.
bad, it's like sometimes you're so deep in the bad that you feel like you can't come up. You're like gasping for air,
Mhm.
or you're down there, you're holding your breath and you're about to pass out. It's like, how do
Another
I
thing
escape?
about being in the dark or in those bad moments is that I feel like every time I'm in those bad moments, for some reason, my community is busy doing other things. And luckily, I'm at a point where I don't take that personally when people, I mean, there are times where I'm flooded and I'm like, okay, what the heck? Like, what's happening? But it's really to go within yourself. And that's so important. I was just talking to a friend about this earlier today. She's like, I just want nurturing. I just want, you know, to be held sometimes. And I just want to, but sometimes that's that's comfort, and we grow the most when we're uncomfortable. And
Yes.
so the people who are going to sit there in comfort, when I first got here my car was still packed. I got here like 1 a.m. in the like 1 a.m. and I went straight to bed, and I was going to unpack my car the next day and then return my rental car, and I was sitting there and I was having a panic attack, and I was like, I'm just getting my car and I'm driving back home. Like I had that thought, and then I was like, who can I call? Who can I call? Like I need. And I was like, no, Marissa, you can do this yourself. Like you don't
Hmm.
need anyone else. You need to feel safe within yourself, and that's part of being down here. You need to find safety within yourself.
Right.
And so I grounded myself. Luckily, it was like 70 degrees outside. I took my socks off. I put my feet in the ground. I was speaking affirmations into my water. I did some breathing techniques, and I made it through. And just that in itself, I didn't call anyone.
Wow. That's
And
awesome.
that was so empowering to feel like, hey, that was probably one of the worst panic attacks I've had in my life. And it,
Wow.
yeah. Anyways, but it's just being by yourself sometimes and just trusting that everything, we're all one, we're all, the illusion of separation is so strong that like if you realize that we are really all one, everything you want is inside of
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
is so strong, but we are wired to have connection. So it's not that we don't need or that we need the connection as humans,
Right.
but knowing that we have it all within on a higher level will also bring you to a place where you can find the right connections of people who
Right.
that makes sense.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know.
And I'll tell you, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I got guided to do this one time. You know how you want to have like connection? If you've never done this, I want you to try it and see what it feels like. But if you feel like, oh my God, I just need a hug, okay? What I did one time was I asked the gods to come in and my angels, and I was like, I want to feel this connection with you. And then set the intention that as you hug yourself, that is their energy. And so if you take yourself and hug yourself and feel that energy, it is so amazing. Set that intention to hug yourself.
Okay. I've been doing that, but like tapping, like hugging myself and tapping. That's another thing.
Hmm.
Um, I'll have to do that. I've kind of realized within the last couple days that um I've kind of numbed out. And I
Mm,
think it's because of all I have had a lot of very chaotic stuff happen down here.
hmm.
And I really know I need to focus on getting back to my heart center.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you about something that this might, I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but I have been hurting myself like on accident, like just running into things. Like I have this cut. I'm pretty sure it's like
You're not paying attention to yourself.
it's all on the right side.
Hmm. Right? It's
All on the right
right
side.
now. Right is right now. And your body is saying you're not worrying about self. You're not giving self enough
I
attention.
literally said that earlier.
And
Ah!
yeah, usually anytime you start doing that, and if you are not grounding every single day, feet on the ground, that also creates a lot of imbalance with us. So, I mean, they tell me, and they're like, I don't know how, like smacking your face when I tell you, get your ass outside because we get filled up with, I always get this backwards. I think we're full of positive ions. Is that right? We get an
Yes, and the
abundance of
negative ions come
positive.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we have to neutralize and have a balance. So if you're overfilled with positive, when you have too much of one thing or too much of anything, you get off balance. And so what I noticed too is that you stub your toe, you hit your head, you because you get so off balance that you're not focused. And that's also another way to go, oh, have I actually went outside intentionally and like at minimum of 10 minutes. And I will be a little bitch and go, it's fucking cold out here. Like it is like 20 degrees outside. It is frozen. I couldn't even open my damn door. It was frozen shut.
Wow.
We got snow yesterday. It's ice right now. And so I'm like, it's too effing cold to go outside. And they're like, I don't effing care. Get your ass out there and get grounded. But it's because you need to neutralize. So if you know that you are doing self-care, and you're doing all the things, maybe it's because you're not grounding. But if you're grounding and you're still having these accidents are you're not paying attention to your own needs. So then it's about, am I,
It's all been when I've been helping people too.
oh, see,
I'm
you're
just
doing it for other
realizing
people
this.
and not for self. And so self's like, hey, I'm still here. And so you
You
create
still
these
are amazing.
accidents. Exactly. It's so wild. Like the body has a very liberate way of, to the point, listen, listen, listen. It's pretty crazy. So, anyways, so that's my tidbit.
No, I needed to ask you that because I knew that you'd have the answer.
Yeah. Well, that one happens to me all the time. So I have asked that so many times, and there are, like I said, there's multiple answers, but usually it has to do with either grounding or not doing self-care. So that's just what I've learned through my
I
process.
know. I actually have been feeling so much resistance, and I actually realized I was talking to my friend the other day about I was like, sometimes I feel like I have like ODD, which is oppositional defiance disorder. I
Hmm.
was like, sometimes I just feel it, but like within myself. But also I noticed it like at school, when I was younger, it was like anytime people told me to do something, I didn't want to do it just because I was told that I had to do it. And my grandma's always like, you have to learn lesson the hard way. Like, why do you
That
always have to learn my lesson the hard
that's
way?
probably a past life. You probably, because I'm going through that too. Um, I have a friend who has a husband that is very like, "Mm." And I'm like, why do you let him talk to you that way? Oh, honey, if he would talk to me that way, like I would put him in his place. And my husband goes, why are you so worried about it? And I'm like, I don't know. That's very triggering to me. It's not even happening to me, but damn if it did, I'll be like, and he was like, you need to do some work on that. Like it shouldn't trigger you when it's not even your journey. And I'm like, whoo, talk about even side note
I
lessons, right?
love that your husband that you
Oh
guys
yeah.
are like that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, he'll call out my
what
triggers in a heartbeat. He's like, I think that triggered you. And I'm like, shut the up, you know, like because when he
that's
gets triggered, he's like a little sore dog and he's like, you know, like that you triggered me. And I'm like, it's not intentional, you know, like grow a set
yeah.
of balls, you know. But yeah, so yeah,
It
we
should be the
call each other.
opposite, actually. We shouldn't say that because balls are so weak.
I know,
And we should be like,
I
grow a
know.
pussy.
I know.
Grow
So
a pussy.
but yeah, we he definitely calls me out and I love that. And I'm just like, because sometimes you get looped in it and you don't realize like dang, you know, there I am again, and I would still loop on it if he wouldn't call me out on it, you know, and it shouldn't bother me. It's not happening to me. It's happening to her. Why am I so worried about it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm getting triggered by it. She's not getting triggered by it. I am. So it was like an indirect lesson of triggering.
Mhm.
Is that not crazy how the
Mhm. That is
universe
crazy.
works? And it's like
Mhm.
it that should not have bothered me, but it did, and it pissed me off. I'm like, oh, I know somebody ain't talking to me that way. But then I start digging and I'm like, ooh, I feel this is from past life. Like somewhere, somehow, that was a lesson maybe I didn't grasp very good or I didn't handle very good. Maybe I was killed for speaking up. And so that has to do with something in a past life, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna have to meditate on that because that literally just happened like 2 days ago. And I'm like, oof, yeah,
I just realized something about myself as you were talking that I was like,
what?
that's been popping up. Just about taking care of myself. I literally have been so into herbal stuff and trying to project it out on people. I'm like, oh, you have to take this, this, this. And I'm like, Marissa, you haven't even done it yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and it's been triggering because I have these people around me who are just being victimizing themselves to their health.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you realize that you have power over that. And then there's me who am just completely avoidant of it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll get there. Let me fix this first. Other
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah.
And I'm finding myself, I didn't even realize it. Ah! I feel you,
Yeah.
bro. I feel you.
Yeah. It's so much easier though. And I think that is the star seed light worker mentality is like, you know, I feel in my soul that was the mission. We came here to help the others and this has been a hard lesson for myself and that was the reason, you know, I did teaching for 13 years. I got out for 3. I went back thinking that I can save them and I lasted 3 weeks, all the threes, right? And when I got out, I'm like, why did I have to go back and do that? And it was like, it was a great lesson for you. And I'm like, yeah, but what? And it was like, think about it. What did you learn? And the first thing that, oh, I can feel this reverberating from my soul. It's like you can't save them all. And that's exactly what I feel like I came here. I feel like I came here this lifetime going, I can save them all. I can save them all. I can do it. I'll carry the baton and I'll do it. I'm going to save every one of us. We're all going to go. And then they're like, no, that's not your mission. You're here to save yourself. Save yourself first because you're the prime. This is your journey. Save yourself first and
Comprehension. Hmm.
then you can, you know, and the other thing is because we're 3D, we like to use our damn words. Words are spells. We cast them all the time. So it's almost like sometimes it's better to just shut up and be the light because our light is such a high frequency that when your soul, I just got chills. When your soul comes in contact with someone else, Their soul can read the vibration, and the vibration is what wakes them up, not our freaking words, because our words only trigger the 3D conscious ego,
Mhm.
right? And so, of course, the conscious ego is like, shut up, I'm not doing that, yada, yada, yada. And that's why being in the light is so empowering. This is just coming to me as I'm talking to you, by the way. I didn't really think about it like this. But when you are vibrating, that light gives off that frequency. That is what wakes the others up. Because my soul to your soul, if we just sat here in silence, which is so uncomfortable because ego does not like silence. We've been taught that,
Mhm.
right? Like that's weird. It's actually not, because when you're in silence, you actually get a lot of information. But,
Mhm.
anyways, my soul to your soul, that vibration is healing and awakening, not my words. Because shit, we don't even know if we know our truth yet. We're just spitting
Mhm.
out shit we've heard. And the things that I know in this moment is so different from what I knew 5 years ago. Send you out with so much love. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.